I'm running up stones on the edge of the bank. Rally the troops for another refrain. I sing this softly to myself. I sing this softly to myself. I'm buried beneath the sand. There's no way to speak or reach out my hand. Watching the paper slowly unfold, bracing for news that I can't bear to hold. While I'm singing this song to myself, I sing this softly to myself.
Welcome to another episode. I'm so glad that you're here. As you can see, I have delved into a new spinning project. If you are a subscriber over at Patreon, you would have seen in the May studio vlog that I wrapped up and finished this project. This is a 2-ply, I would say, Aaron Way Romney roving, and it is from Bybrook Farm. And with this being finished, I am ready to launch into something new. If you are contributing financially, whether that is through Patreon or it is through coffee, a deep heartfelt thank you for enriching this production and project and compensating me for my time. If you have liked and subscribed, or you have headed over to the vlog, or you have shopped at the Woolly Thistle through my affiliate link, thank you so much as well. I very much value the comments that come my way. They are very humbling and encouraging, and I couldn't do this without you. So thank you. Spinning. So this is done. I have about 500 grams of this 2-ply, and I'm wondering about knitting a vest or maybe using it as the body of a sweater. So that's on the go, and well, I should say that is complete and ready for its next evolution in the fiber process. But what I am now working on is a project which would ultimately lead to some weaving. I'm very interested in Icelandic fleeces. As you know, I have my own Icelandic. I've worked with Icelandic wool for a very long time, over 25 years now, and I have never really gone and separated out the coats. So Icelandics, if you don't know, are a dual coated breed. They have the tog, which is the long fibers on the outside of the body, and the thell, which is a insulatory, shorter, more crimpy fiber that's closer to the body, and they both work in tandem to protect the sheep from a variety of weather conditions. So you've got lanolin to help with waterproofing, you've got the long fibers to help direct wind off the body, and then you have the shorter fibers for the insulation. And the longer fibers have a very high tensile strength, and when prepared into the twist all aligned in a worsted fashion, they can create a really durable warp for weaving. And that is what I plan to do. I'm not going to be weaving clothing as of yet. I don't think that's going to happen, but I would like to put it on my inkle loom and do some band weaving with it, whether that's for a hat band or bracelet or trim. I just thought it would be a fun experiment, and it's now time to do it. So I am using a fleece from one of my animals. This is in the grease, so it hasn't been washed or prepped at all. I really kind of had hoped that that would help the fibers retain a little bit more structure to them, so they were easier to pull apart. And I toyed with a couple different ideas for separating out those two pieces. The first one was to play around with my mini combs. These were a gift long ago from a viewer of the podcast, and they are for dealing with finer fibers like cashmere, yak, kivyat. combing is a preparation for worsted spinning. It helps the fibers to all align into the twist. And again, by doing that, you cut down on the amount of loft and air that goes into the spin. So your fibers or your yarns that come off of this type of preparation are very drapey. They tend to highlight shine because there's nothing in I'm looking for. There's nothing interfering with, sorry Ruby, the surface area. I'm recording and she doesn't like it. There's something interfering with the surface area of the fibers. So, fibers like Wensleydale, Lincoln Leicester, BFL, those longer wools, you can prepare them in such a way that you really get a silkiness to them. And the drape, as I mentioned, so for lace projects. But the other thing that you get is a lot of high tensile strength, so that when you're working on a warp, for example, and that is going through the heddles, or you're twisting your cards, you're beating down on it, it's able to maintain its integrity. So my goal with this was, as I said, to have that preparation. These mini combs really are just for helping out. If you were working with yak or cashmere or kiviot, it's a great way to help separate out the hair from the actual down of the animal. Because what happens is, as you may have seen, when you're pulling on the fibers, and this is also true, and when you're separating out roving, or as you pull, the longest fibers are going to come away first, and that is going to just leave you with the down in the comb. So I originally tried this. They're very small, as you can see, and they have one set of tines, and I just felt like I was ruining them with the amount of stress that I was putting on it. And the fibers from the Icelandic are quite strong, and I couldn't do as much as I wanted at a time. So I pulled out my Viking combs, which you may have noticed have 2 rows of tines. This enables you to go faster. The real goal of those tines is to catch the smaller fibers, the broken fibers, they get tangled up. So the more tines you have, the less passes you have to do with your comb. Now for me, I wasn't really looking for that type of prep. I didn't need, because there are 2 coats. So what I would do is I would lay out the lock into the tines. I would hold it just like I was holding my own hair, and I would comb and try to open up the ends of that thell, so that when I pulled it off or dizzed it off, it was just a little bit easier to pull through and created a little bit less tension. So that is what I ended up doing. So no fine combs. These are great. I have used these for other fleeces, and I've spun right off the comb, which is a really nice technique to do. And the Viking combs that I've used, they've created just a more efficient way to move through fleece. So as you saw, I had kind of combed up these nests. Now it does look like hair. So when you're spinning it, it does not have a lot of elasticity. There's no crimp really in it to kind of create that feeling or fluidity. So it really is just letting the wheel do a lot of work. So the wheel is pulling it off, and my hands, as you saw, were very far apart, because the weakest point on the locks or in your preparation is the length of the fiber. That's where you're gonna get your bit of drafting. Would be my drafting zone. You can see how far apart that is. If this were like a merino or the tog off of the animal, my drafting zone might be a little bit shorter. So I have this very long drafting zone for this, and I am spinning it on the highest ratio on my shocked sidekick, because I want to try to get as much twist into it as I can, because when I go to ply it, anytime you put twist in and then you're plying, it's all physics, your your taking twist out. So I really want to create a high twist tensile strength. I keep using that word because I think it's a really great descriptor for the warp on my band weaving. So this Icelandic fell is going to be spun up. I don't think I need a ton. I don't need these big, long, warps and bands. It's just enough to experiment with, really. You can see that there are varying colors on this particular fleece, so we'll go from dark to light. I have reserved the tog, and I probably will just either hand card that up, or that would be perfect to put on a mini comb and spin off of it. If I wanted to create more loft, I could put it through the drum carder and just spin it up. Will I use that as the weft? I'm uncertain. But we'll see. Right now I'm just focusing on this project. My plan currently is to ply it, and then I will give it a cold soak. I'm not going to do a ton of preparation, I think, for washing it. I really want to preserve some of the lanolin in it. This material I want to be more reflective of the landscape and the animal and the process versus transformative. And so for me, keeping connected to the original piece is part of that, is just moving through with minimal processing. And like I said, probably just a series of cold wash, maybe with a little bit of Dawn dish soap to take the edge off the dirt. But I really want to retain as much of the lanolin as I can. Now, Icelandics aren't known for heavy lanolin in general, so there is that, but this particular piece, it's not like I walk away and my hands are like super sticky. Merinos have a lot of lanolin, and which can be, interfere. It dries on the fleece. It needs to be warmed up, etc. So I'm not really running into any of that problem with this Icelandic tog. That's the word I'm looking for. So that's where the spinning is. I don't think it'll take me very long to get these singles done, because like I said, I'm not spinning for a sweater. And then I do have, I am feeling the spinning right now. It is all about textiles. I'm moving through some stressful times, and I'm just leaning into the wool and the real source of that. And I'm deriving great delight from it. So from here, as I said, I have a whole Romney fleece in the raw that I'd love to get going. I will put that onto the Lendrum, and yeah, so that's kind of the view from the fleece experience. So it is very gratifying to move that Romney off and reintroduce or introduce a new project. Feel like I've kind of harkened back to my old days when I first started, and there was just all wool all the time. So lots of spinning coming in, and as I mentioned, I'm kind of leaning into the real grounding nature of that particular material and craft. But there is also some knitting. I want to chat with you about that now, and I want to tell you a little bit about my plans for the summer. So I cast it on because, well, maybe I should mention this. I finished the Pagan Sky. This is a pattern by Zanetta Knits. It is a top-down yoke. I knit it in Plotolopi in a brown and a cream. The only amendment I think I made is I did the sleeves kind of with some fullness at the bottoms. So I never did any decreases along the sleeve, and I just bound off at the bottom, and so they kind of have a bit of a puff to them. But other than that, I knit it all to the pattern. I love it. I gave it a good kind of thwack block when it came out of the water, just to get all those fibers to relax. This is the project that I did use the ladder back jacquard for all of the long floats on one sleeve and not on the other. And I was really hoping that relaxing in the water and giving it some, you know, gentle pulling might help some of those fibers relax and set back on the sleeve that I did not use the ladder back jacquard. All that to say, it's finished, and I was missing that Icelandic, so I cast on for my 2-year-old niece Annie a ridari in a fialalopi that I ordered a little while ago. And this is all done in some beautiful blues and light grays, and I am reverse engineering this pattern. It is free. I found it on Ravelry, but you might find it on Icetech's site. It's by Vidis Jonsdottir, and she has an adult version and then a separate pattern for the children. I reversed this to knit it top down, so I'm working on the yoke, and I am knitting the smallest size. I opted to start the neckline a little bit lower, so it's a little wider on the neck. The design has a crew, and it's really quite high, and I am loving every minute of that. It is going lickety split, which is so nice to knit for a 2-year-old, and I'm getting close to dividing for the sleeves for that. The other thing that I wanted to work on was the beret by Viola Designs from her book. I originally knit one in a rose color out of Biche Bouche in their lamb's wool and mohair, and this one is the same yarns, but in a different color. It's in a deeper teal. So I worked a bit on that. I put in a repeat on my Agnes kofta, and I contemplated the yell. I am ready to add the steek stitches, and this is a design by Marie Wallen, and I am knitting that in Spindrift. So that's the knitting. I really enjoyed it. As I've been saying for a while, I've just really been drawn to it. We've had a lot of rainy weekends, I think 11 in a row, and this past one was no different. So I've just found that I've really wanted to put some time into those projects and kind of sit quietly. Last time I talked, I was starting to pull together my thoughts for the summer, and I'm going to start that off with saying I won't be here in June. I'm going to take that off to recharge. I have some personal matters to attend to. I want to wrap up school, and I kind of want to reinvigorate my creative integrity and momentum and energy. So I'm going to take June to do that. But I am really looking forward to cyanotype season, some natural dyeing, botanical printing, using that in some bookbinding projects. I've got some quilt projects I want to get on the go. So that will look similar to what I've done in the past. And yeah, I'm starting to feel excited about the good weather, being able to get out and utilize the natural space for creative pursuits. So that's upcoming. Natural dyeing, cyanotypes. I told you that I've been really leaning into forage and stitch, and maybe doing some more media surface design, paper marbling. If you are a patron, you would have seen that I worked on a book this past studio vlog, and I finished that. I was really quite happy with the process and how it came out. So I'm feeling like there's somewhere to go with all of the creative surface design that I've been doing. So that's upcoming. I still have plans to head to the Fiber Frolic on Saturday or maybe Sunday. Those plans are up in the air. I'm kind of hoping my husband Rob will join me and we'll just have a leisurely day. There is an amazing bakery from Dennisville that goes. I'm going to double check and see if they're going. But that's actually really drawing me in. Their savory scones are to die for. I brought back focaccia bread. They have cinnamon rolls, and I I can just really appreciate it when somebody has baked goods that are so good. I didn't have to make them. I think it's worth it. And maybe just a nice day out for the two of us with minimal crowds. So that's my thought for the Fiber Frolic that's upcoming May 31st and June 1st. So I will be doing that. And I think that's really it. It's kind of a short one. Lots going on out there in my world. And yeah, I'm so happy that I have this world of creative materials to lean into for that. I'm so glad that you've come along and joined me for that. I look forward to seeing you next time. Many fond wishes and blessings. Take care. Bye.